hold on. I'm forgetting something. I got the bisexual TikTok lighting. I got all my weird shit right there. I got it. Boo. Gotcha.
Matter, kid, don't you like clowns? Why? Don't we make you laugh? Aren't we fucking funny?
Well, if there's anything I can do to make myself look even worse than I already have, it's the continuation of this story. You're welcome. Now, you would think this was a rough, scary time for me. Well, sort of. Being locked up has its stages of grief, so to speak. But to be honest with you, I actually had a fucking blast in jail. Being locked up was fun. Seriously. Actually, the best birthday I've ever had that I can remember was locked up, which is totally fucked up, I know. Where we left off, I was kind of in segregation. Well, not kind of, I really was. I was going through some really tough withdrawals. I was completely worn out because I had already been up for a few days straight, shooting, snorting, eating every possible drug I could get my fucking hands on. I was also hallucinating pretty badly. At one point, it looked like my dead grandmother was staring at me through the little window to my cell, giving me this look of guilt, shame, anger, and I probably just spent a week hallucinating, in pain, recovering, pretty much just laying on the floor. When you're in segregation, they start out by taking away your mattress and everything at whatever the fuck o'clock, and they don't even really return it until whenever. It's cold, you're stuck in a room, you don't see any sunlight, but the thing that actually gets worse is that there was only one other person in segregation with me, and he was the most annoying motherfucker ever. Well, sometimes he was annoying. He used to be an outlaw biker, but something must have happened to him. I'm not sure if it's true or not, but someone told me a rival biker gang member caught him when he wasn't looking, and they baseball batted the fucking piss out of him. So bad that now he's a window-licking, should-be helmet-wearing, crayon-eating motherfucker. The thing that made this guy so annoying to me was the fact that he could only say a few things, but he was always screaming the N-word profusely, saying his great-grandfather was in the KKK and about being an outlaw biker. That was pretty much it. And then in the middle of him talking, his teeth would fucking fall out on the floor, and he would be making these weird noises, kind of like Gary the Snail from SpongeBob. Just try to picture this. It legitimately felt like I was in a fucking insane asylum. He wasn't a bad guy or anything. He was just not all there. There's a reason he was in segregation to begin with. You can't just start yelling racial slurs at everybody for no fucking reason. I mean, I don't see why anybody would beat him up because he was legitimately mentally retarded. That's not a dig. I'm not just saying that to be mean. The motherfucker would eat bars of soap, toothpaste, and they had to limit the amount of these free items he got. Also, he used to store up his shit, like literally. He would never flush the toilet, and every once in a while, an officer would come in there and be like, yo, what the fuck, Tony? Because now there was so much poop in there that it was impossible to flush, and some of it had to be taken out by hand. On the streets, we call this a Super Bowl. But back to segregation. So what do you do with your time in segregation? You spend a lot of time shining your helmet, if you know what I mean. Hang out with Slap Sally and the Five Palm Sisters. Isn't she pretty? Mwah, mwah. This is most likely what will eat up your time, especially when I Dream a Genie comes on and Barbara Eden's looking fucking zesty in her costume. Reading is another activity. Occasionally, you would get some fantasy novels or a Bible. You don't want to read any of the romance novels in there because the pages are fucking stuck together and you know why. No crusty, dusty romance novels. I didn't even know what day it was. There was no sunlight and shit was just starting to move so slowly. You have moments where you wake up and you feel like you're waking up in a dream because you're in jail and not in your own bed, or in my case, sometimes someone else's. Then after days of no sunlight, no knowing what time or day it was, and Gary next door, I finally got the closest thing I was going to get to the outside world, a cheap, clear radio. That girl I was with left me for someone else, which was cool, like I get it, none of that bothered me, and by the way, I was kind of a hoe anyways, but she was still writing me on and off. I got her to drop off a couple $100 so I could get myself a radio, some food, maybe a phone card. Even though she left me for someone else, she was still a solid girl. I remember getting that radio, I believe it was like $48 for this clear piece of shit. fucking ouch. It was clear, cheaply made, Dollar Tree looking like all hell. That's what it was. It was a radio, not a CD player, not an MP3 player, none of that shit. I remember being able to listen to music for the first time in months, and it felt like that I had a little bit of something from the outside world back in my life. Then I got onto the college radio station. I think it was 90.3 FM, but I could be wrong. And I was hearing music that I personally listened to, not just stuff that was on the radio. One of the first songs that came on made me break down and cry so fucking hard because the lyrics, and it was a song that I knew very well from Diesel Boy. It's called Take Me Away, Ill Skills Remix. I just broke down and cried the whole time because it hit me. It really hit me. I haven't been sentenced yet. I was potentially looking at a lot of time and there was no way out of this. I was still in segregation and I was going to be in segregation until I got sentenced because what I did was violent. They can't put me with other people. That's my own fault. I didn't even know what happened to my car or any of my stuff. I had been living out of hotels and hanging out with gang members and all kinds of people who were probably extremely untrustworthy with my things. So I had to assume all of it was gone, which to find out later it was. I remember getting my pre-sentence paperwork sent to me 30 minutes before it had to be filled out, and the worst parole officer to interview me for that was on the fucking menu today. We'll give her a fitting name that sounds nothing at all like her real name. Oh, I got it. Jordana Schneider. She started screaming at me because I didn't have it done, and I said I just got it 30 minutes ago. I only realized you were going to be here like now. She was a fucking bitch, seriously. So during the interview, I told her that if she didn't like it, she could go fuck herself and leave me alone. This ended up working out for me in my favor because she wrote such scathing things about me, it didn't even sound like it could be even close to being true. Like, yeah, this bitch's solution was to go into overkill. I also chose the right attorney because right away I could tell she had a good relationship with the judge. They were joking and talking, doing this thing like, hey, how's it going? You know, they had the chemistry, you know what I'm saying? This was great. I tried to get my bail down enough because initially I was just going to skip out of court and leave the state. The consequences I was going to pay did not seem appealing to me, but eventually I completely just gave up. During this time, I started to feel really guilty for what I did. Normal people don't do this shit. This is where I fucking belong. No doubt about it. This is exactly where I belong. And I didn't deserve to be outside with other people because what I did was so fucked up. My whole life had just been completely fucked from beginning to end. Well, it's gotten better since then, but at that point in time, that's exactly what I was thinking. And this was the place that I deserved to be. I remember the district attorney absolutely wanting to railroad me. Well, they always do. They go high and the judge goes low, or so you hope, but I wasn't fighting anything anymore. I had accepted reality for what it was. I wanted it to be over so I could start my time. The district attorney didn't like me, and to be honest, I didn't fucking like him very much either. The judge was almost at the end of his career and he was going to retire soon, and the district attorney Jorgensen was going to take his seat. I think what helped me was taking full accountability like I did. I felt genuine remorse. Like, what I did was scumbag ass shit. I felt completely ashamed of myself. I knew I was broken and I felt like there was no place in society where I fit. Sorry. None of my friends showed up to court. Not even my family showed up. No one did. I didn't get any visits. I went in there completely alone. And you know what? I deserve that. Nobody else put me there. I broke down and cried so hard in front of the judge. Everybody was right about me. I was a fucking monster, a freak of nature, some circus oddity that didn't fit anywhere. I ended up only getting 1 year for what I did, and trust me, I deserved a hell of a lot more. No, I didn't rat anybody out. And yes, everything about my past before that most definitely said prison was the right place to go. Altogether, I think I've spent probably about 3 years behind bars. After one promised visitor failed to show up after another, you stop filling out visitors lists. Nobody is guaranteed to visit you. I accepted that no one was coming. And that's actually when life got a hell of a lot better because I wasn't worried about anyone else anymore. I already knew at that time the only things I owned were the clothes that I came in with, which was true. After being in segregation for so long and then getting sentenced, it had been over 100 days, if not more. It really changes who you are fundamentally. It's hard to look at other people in the eyes. The weird thing about people is it makes you feel unsure of everyone after being in segregation that long. I actually wanted to go to prison, but short timers don't sit it out in prison. They ship you there and then they ship you right back to fucking jail. And you have to go through the whole jail process all over again, getting booked in and all of that shit. So yeah, trust me, going to prison would have been actually kind of fucking ideal in this situation. After more than 100 days in segregation and court finally being over, they moved me into a bigger pod. That should have felt like I was getting closer to normal. Instead, it felt like I walked into a playground built by felons, supervised by nobody, and sponsored by bad decisions. So yes, I ended up going to a bigger pod. Well, it was bigger to me. It was a place I had been plenty of times. I saw this guy right away who looked like Timu fucking Dan Aykroyd. He'd been kind of a dick to me at this job selling those Kirby vacuums, so I thought I'd scare him a little bit. I walked up right behind him and said, "Hey, I remember you," and then I just walked the fuck away, which must have been fucking terrifying to this guy. I could tell it shook him because I wanted to fuck with his head. It worked, but we ended up becoming friends. And when I say I had fun, I mean that once you don't have anything else to worry about because everything is gone, you've accepted reality, your girlfriend is with the neighbor or whatever, and all your shit is fucking gone, you've entered complete fuck it mode. Entirely. If you thought I would slow down in jail, yes, the drugs were gone. I never planned on being a drug dealer again, but I was still kind of a bag of shit by design. I was a scumbag, and I loved fucking with people so much, everything was a joke. I found a whole bunch of other people who were just like that. In fact, every time I went to jail, there were a ton of people that I knew. You want to go where everybody knows your name. It was like going to the playground with your friends, and everything that comes out of these moments is like Jackass on meth and fucking steroids. Again, I'm just being honest. We did some fucked up shit. Almost all of it was funny, but we played little games with each other. We would take conductors out of the AAA batteries, which were pretty much just unsharpened nails, attach them to flex pens that we had, and then we reinforced that with everything we could find, and then run around shanking each other with these shanks. We weren't light about it at all. If you got shanked, the nail that was the length of an entire AAA battery was going all the way fucking in. This is actually a lot of fun. This is so much fucking fun. I know it's really fucked up to say that shanking each other was fun, but oh my God, was it ever fucking fun. We also made, how do you say it? A crazier version of the penis showing game. You know, the movie Waiting with Ryan Reynolds, and they're doing like the whole penis showing game. We added like 40 different specialty moves, and I contributed quite a bit to the list. I mean, what else are you supposed to do in jail? Show each other your dicks and try to avoid being shanked. Duh. I actually got one of the officers with the move that I personally coined the Kodak moment. And here's the exact picture frame that I use. You can slide a picture in this side right here, and then you could easily slide it out. So this officer loved dogs and was kind of a specialist with them. When it was lights out and close to bedtime, I had my junk right behind the picture. We're going to fake argue about what kind of dog was in this picture of. And we were going to get the officer, Officer H, to settle the disagreement. And I wish I did get this on camera because this is definitely a fucking Kodak moment. The officer lifted up his glasses and he looked really close. He's lifting up his glasses. It was just a little bit difficult for him to see, which was perfect. So he leaned in closer. Then I slid the picture out and he got a straight shot of my meat hammer looking him straight in the fucking face. He jumped up and he said, "You motherfuckers, you got me good. You got me so damn good." He was cool though because he was ex-military, so he knew all about this kind of shit. From what I can tell is that being in the military and being in lockup is kind of the same shit, but yeah, I got an officer of the law with the penis showing game, and he was a damn good sport about it. Thank you, H. The best birthday I had ever had in my entire fucking life was actually in jail. Yeah, it really was the funnest birthday I've ever had. And it was my 23rd birthday. Happy birthday to me. At that point, we had a massive crew of people. We're all on the same page. There were about 18 or 20 of us who hung out and fucked with each other and other people relentlessly. Like when we got up till the time we went to bed, it was just a giant game of who we can trigger a response out of. As soon as we got up and moved as a crew, everyone scattered. Nobody wanted to be subject to one of our pranks. No one wanted anything to do with us. And for damn good reason. We were planning a big cookout for my birthday. It was huge, and a lot of my friends from the streets were in there. My buddy Juan was in there. He's a hefty Japanese and Native American mix. For a guy who was around 300 pounds, he was fucking agile. He could jump all the way up to the top bunk doing a ninja kick past you, then fart in your face while his ass was coming perfectly in line with your nose. You would never see it coming. And then as he landed, he would turn around and point at you and go, "Hiya, motherfuckers." Drive by. Like, even before we were locked up together, this was the guy who would take a dump in his grandmother's front yard just to watch her the very next day, picking up his shit while bitching about the neighbor's dog. How do you quantify someone that fucked up? Also, he was the person that I would eat at Shanghai buffet with, and we would buy disguises, and then we'd go to the Moto Mart where I used to work, and we would do upper deckers in both the male and female bathrooms. If you're wondering what an upper decker is, here is the Urban Dictionary definition. Well, the upper decker is performed as such. Step 1, make sure nobody's around. Step 2, quietly open the lid of the upper section of the victim's toilet. Step number 3, quietly place the lid down on the floor. Step 4, then take a nice shit in the upper section of the toilet without letting anybody hear you. Step 5, wipe your ass. You don't want to ever forget that, don't you? Step 6, place the soiled toilet paper in the upper section of the toilet or in a drawer or magazine. Step 7, slowly lift the lid off the floor with your fingers under it and carefully bring it over to the toilet. Voila. Step 8, here's the hard part. With your fingers under the lid, slowly place the lid on the toilet. No false moves or you're screwed. Don't want to get caught now, do we? Step 9, leave and don't let anybody see you. Just bail as quickly as possible. Step 10, mission accomplished. Yes! Plumber, it looks like you have feces in your toilet tank. Victim, it must have been an upper decker. Plumber, yeah, right. It's already clear that you're stupid enough to shit in there. What the fuck? Oh, fuck. If you're wondering how many times we did this, I know exactly 8. We did it once a week for 2 months straight. You're welcome. You could never be mad at this guy. All you could do was appreciate how fucked up and funny the situation was. Okay, so back to my birthday party. I was having a good time in jail, but I remember when I got up on my birthday, my buddy Fox sat right next to me and shanked me in the leg. It was my first of 23 shankings. At that point, it didn't matter to me. It didn't bother me at all. At that point, it didn't matter. You could have shanked me 15 times and that thing wouldn't have fucking fazed me at all. He just smiled and said, "Happy birthday, buddy." As the shank was still in my leg, I said, "Thanks, Fox. I appreciate you, bro." I casually got shanked 20 more times throughout the day, but I decided to finish off the last 3 in my right thigh. That was literally how I spent my birthday, eating food and getting shanked. It was a fucking blast. And seriously, like a fucking blast. This was the best birthday I've literally ever had, which is fucked up. We also made another game. In fact, we made a lot of them, but this one was called the kidney game. Once you're told what the kidney game is, you're already playing, whether you like it or not. And yep, that means you. The rules were simple. You could punch someone in the kidney and whoever pissed blood at the end of it lost. There was also fake outs, and if they flinched, you got a straight shot to the kidney. And they couldn't do anything about it. All I can say is the kidney game was fucking lit, yo. Eventually, all of us were pissing blood, so every single one of us lost in the end. I was writing hookup letters with other girls who were locked up. I was actually somewhat interested in this one chick. She could not spell for shit. Trying to read her letters was sometimes like trying to decipher abstract fucking art. She literally spelled Nazi N-O-T-S-Y. Like, what the fuck? Is she really that dumb? Of course she was. She would send me pictures and everything, but I stopped writing her after the dude in the bunk underneath me had the same picture, and I was like, oh, fucking hell no. I mean, I know I'm not guaranteed to be the only one she's writing, but that fucking close? Fuck all that. You know what they say? She's a peacock and she needs to fly from dick to dick. You know what's funny is that I actually ended up personal training her sister later on, which was weird and funny. Her sister was actually a well-adjusted, phenomenal human being, and she was the complete opposite of her sister. After a while, even the shanking games needed a halftime show. So naturally, we became artistes. Terrible artists, criminal artists, the kind of artists whose entire portfolio should be pressure washed off a bathroom wall. We always watched the officers, and if there was an opportunity to steal something, fuck yeah, we did it. We absolutely fucking did. Now, what we did with those markers was to start drawing dicks on literally everything, especially the jail uniforms. The funny part was that we shared the same uniforms with the women in the women's unit. There were about 20 of us drawing dicks all over them. And when we would get new uniforms 2 times a week, it was cool to see who got whose dick on them. We would laugh our asses off because we would see some really unhappy girls occasionally with giant dicks all over the uniforms. and the fucked up part about this is they had to go to court like that. So for any of the girls out there that got one of those dicks on her shirt and she had to plea out to a judge, I am low-key sorry about that, and I hope we can both come together and laugh about this. You're welcome, ladies. They would get new uniforms and start crossing out the dicks, but we just added more. They became bigger and more elaborate as time went on. I always wore one with a giant dick that covered the entire back because I'm fucking rad like that. These are just some of the fucked up little things we did to pass the time. I have to leave this next part in here because I know someone is going to bring up the intervention I was given in jail. And yes, I was given an intervention. Seriously, you're probably wondering, for what? Okay. Here it comes. It was because I had itchy, dry skin and I was apparently itching my butthole too much. I didn't think so, but everyone else fucking did. Thank you guys. They sat me down in a circle with serious faces. No one was laughing. I couldn't fucking believe this shit. They all sat me down, wrote intervention letters about how I needed to get hemorrhoid cream because of my itchy ass. They were all stone-faced and completely serious, like, what the fuck? Are you kidding me? They calmly put their hands on my shoulder and they would say, no, this is a serious thing and we need to make sure you're getting the right kind of help. Awesome. Like, what the fuck? Are you serious? No fucking way. For about an hour, everybody read their intervention letters to me and told me how serious they were about it. I was like, okay, what the fuck? You guys are fucking dicks. Which was very on brand for all of us. So I ended up getting the hemorrhoid cream. Thanks, fuckers. But somewhere down the line, one of the officers thought it would be funny to not give me the applicator cap. Oh, all right. You think you're funny? Oh, I'm fucking funnier, trust me. So I came up with a creative way to show that I needed a glove because I didn't have an applicator cap. Not your typical way of getting in touch with your inner self, but fuck it. Can I get some music, maestro? Is everybody feeling a lot more uncomfortable? I sure the fuck am. Honestly, that was a mistake on their part because by this point, I was not the guy you wanted to challenge creatively. I had already lost shame, fear, self-respect, and most of all, the connection to normal human behavior. If they wanted to make it weird, I was fully prepared to make it weirder. At that point, I was so comfortable in jail and completely shameless. When I say shameless, I mean I didn't give a fuck about anything at all. During shower time, I would press my naked body up against the glass and yell the officer's name until they acknowledged me. Every single one of them probably had the most awkward thoughts and feelings about who I was as a person. I am trying so hard not to suffer secondhand embarrassment throughout all of this. If I could gross someone out by doing something, I would definitely fucking do it. I just didn't care. I didn't have a home to go to. I didn't have any of my shit. My whole life was here, so why not lean into it? I mean, imagine it's one of your first times in jail and 195-pound me crawls into the same bunk with you very softly, so gently you barely notice. And then you wake up to me petting your eyebrows while telling you, shh, my little dove, it's okay. Meow, meow, meow. No, I didn't do the struggle snuggle with him or any of them. Well, they did struggle, but thankfully I could hold them close to me with my big, strong arms. Like the Titanic, you know that scene where Jack and Rose are up there and she's like, I'm flying, Jack. Yeah, yes you are. You sure are, aren't you? Plus, there was no way you could possibly punish me at this point. You want to shank me? Cool. You want to not give me an applicator cap for my hemorrhoid cream? Hold my beer. I do have to say, I felt kind of bad about one thing I did, even though it's really fucking funny now. In fact, it was funny back then too. Guys are gross, okay? Can we just kind of like lay that out there? Bare ass farting in someone's face is what happens when you get a whole bunch of juvenile fucking delinquents together. But this one time I did it to my friend Fox and I had totally forgotten I had the hemorrhoid cream in there and I blasted him in the face. And by the time it left my body, I realized, oh fuck, I had royally fucked up. I turned around and I saw him looking like a drowned fucking cat covered in shit particles and hemorrhoid cream. He was completely motionless and in shock. Like, no shit. Then he said, I think the worst thing that has ever happened to me just happened, and I need to go to the bathroom now. Then he calmly got up and walked to the bathroom. And that was it. I tried to start apologizing, but he didn't even acknowledge it because he was just in that much shock. To be honest, I would be too. I don't know if that would be my response, but Fox, I'm sorry, buddy. I would be too. He didn't talk to me for the rest of the night. He just laid in his bunk by himself. We finally talked about it the next day, and I was still profusely apologizing. He was like, yeah, that was really, really bad. And after that, we just kind of moved on from that situation. Fox, dude, again, I'm so sorry because he's on my friends list and he's gonna see this. Yeah, I'm not making myself look real good here, am I? Promises made, promises delivered. We also had a moment called the Pain Olympics, based on the BME Pain Olympics. Here's another one that I'm answering in the questions. If you know what that was, it was a video of dudes doing bad things with their wieners and meat cleavers. Yes, the video was fake, but at the time, it would gross anybody out. This was when the internet was still like the Wild Wild West. And if you saw it, you know. Oh, you know. We decided to have our own mini version of it. We sat there in a drum circle, ready to put as much abuse into our jailhouse joysticks as humanly possible. And all of us were pretty fucking competitive. I'm ultra competitive. I feel like I've been training for months for this event. Now, how do I describe this? Let me find the words. The thing was, if you hit your felony flute with your sandal, the person after you had to one-up it somehow, and everyone else had to acknowledge that it was really one-upping the last person. There were about 20 of us, and let's just say almost everyone dropped out right away, except for me, Wesley, Fox, and Juan. I was not going to lose. You will not fucking beat me at this. We went round after round. I decided, you know what? That's enough. I took one of the shanks out of my boxers, looked Wesley right in the face, and practically stapled my nutsack to the side of my leg. And it went all the way in. Then I calmly, straight face as fuck, got anything better? Everybody just looked at me like, what the fuck, dude? You're fucking insane. Yeah, kind of. Yeah, kind of. You ain't wrong. Everybody else dropped out after that and they were like, yep, you win. But if he would have found a way to one-up it, I would have just done it to the other leg and I would do it to prove a point. Also, I let it sit there for maybe 45 minutes. So for anybody who competes against me in anything down the road, I hope you're all in because I am. I like winning. This was great. This was so much fucking fun. I mean, it doesn't sound like it was fun from the outside. I know a bunch of you are just recoiling in horror in the fetal position right now, but this was fucking fun. I didn't want to get out of jail. I just wanted to hang out with my friends all day doing fucked up shit. I also got the bottom bunk at this point, and I started to put up original artwork on the bottom of the bunk above me. We made faces out of scabs. We used toothpaste to glue pubes all over it. Yeah, that was a real thing. It was absolutely a biological mess. All of us contributed a little bit. For all of you fuckers complaining about my background, just know you'll never have a bunk that has a backdrop like mine. I know you bitches are peanut butter and fucking jealous. Whoever got stuck cleaning my bunk when I left absolutely had their work cut out for them. To say it was disgusting is an understatement. Almost the entire surface was filled with gross original artwork. You know, like when the person taped the banana to the fucking wall? I think I deserve way more than that motherfucker. Okay, you call that art? No, that's not art. I'm sorry, that's amateur work. We were the kings of this fucked up mess. They tried putting me in a work unit to do a job around the jail so I could work off some of my time, but I ended up telling them no. I just wanted to go back to the pod with my friends. I actually revoked a portion of my good time. If you're wondering what that is, every few days you would get like 1 day back, but I didn't care. I didn't have anything to go home to. All I had were the clothes I came in with. Yeah, seriously. Plus, why the fuck would I want to go back to that? I had nothing, literally nothing. We would also have fights and wrestling matches in the corner where the guards couldn't see. You can't get people too bruised up because you can get more charges that way, but it was a lot of fun. Fucking gladiator school, Holmes. We had gladiator matches all the time. This shit was lit. The pain was funny. If any of us had been on Jackass, not only could we have competed with those guys, I'm pretty sure plenty of them would have hated us. Eventually, there was this black dude right next to me, and he was an asshole. He bitched about everything. So he had a CPAP machine, and all of us would take turns farting in it while he was sleeping. One time he woke up and he looked at me. I said, fucking do something about it, motherfucker. Go back to sleep. He lightly grumbled and went back to sleep, and we just continued to keep on doing it. But he was an asshole, a total asshole. One time, my friend Nick was in there. I don't know if he's alive anymore or whatever, but when you line up for chow, you were in kind of an L-shaped formation against the wall. And the officer station was in the middle, and it was a little elevated off the floor so the officer could have a better viewpoint of everything. Nick was requesting something. I don't know what it was, but I saw the opportunity, so I pantsed him in front of everybody. The whole unit saw it. The officer didn't see it though, which was funny. But the best part of the situation was that the guy whose CPAP mask we had been farting in the whole time started yelling at Nick, who was pretty much the victim of this crime. He started calling him a and yelling incoherently at him while his butt cheeks were out for the world to see. You're welcome, Nick. He didn't take time to yell at me. He went way out of his way to yell at him. Like, what the fuck? The punchline writes itself. Occasionally, we would have child predators in there. We were extraordinarily vicious to them. This was before you could get a hate crime for bullying these fucking diaper snipers. We threw batteries at them. I pissed on them while they were sleeping. We tried everything we could to get them out of the unit or to have them make a bedsheet necktie that catches your fall. We would threaten them. And the weird thing is that they were usually these weird bottle cap glasses, Harry Potter looking motherfuckers who never wanted to grow up. They all played Dungeons and Dragons and shit. Don't get me wrong, I was nerdy in that way too. I'm just pointing out something they had all in common. I would take their food right off their tray and eat it in front of them, then tell them to go do something about it. We would spit on them, smack them in the face when they weren't even expecting it. And yes, we shanked the fuck out of them. So do something about it, punk. And if you were a punk in lockup, it doesn't mean what it does out on the streets. I'm going to tell you that if you're a punk in prison or jail, it means gay. And people made fun of that. We didn't have a problem with people being gay. Just admit it. Don't lie to people like a just be you, boo-boo. But yeah, the harassment was relentless. And you know what? Fuck it. Throw them in the wood chipper feet first. You know what I'm saying, JD?
If you victimize a child, the wood chipper wants you. Feet first, down you go, the other side, and you'll be mulch. Praise Chippy, y'all.
I don't give a fuck about these people. And fuck them. I still feel that way about them. I don't care at all. You're worse than a murderer if you're a baby fucker. Yeah, fuck you, punk bitch. Do something. Do something about it. All this acceptance stuff for them these days makes me sick to my fucking stomach. Wood chipper, that's it. God forgives. I don't in that situation. There was actually one really cool night though, where all of the races, the blacks, the Hispanics, the whites, the Asians, all of us had a competition who could tell the best race joke about the other races. We actually had a fucking badass time doing this. We laughed and got along for once. Seriously, how the fuck does racism bring us all together? Some of the jokes the black guys had for white people were fucking hilarious. This kid was imitating white people and using our slang, and it was the funniest fucking shit ever. Like, oh my God. If you know like a black dude and you know, you ask them to imitate white people, you know, saying like, hey, what's going on, dude? Hey, man, what's up, bro? It's fucking funny, dude. We were all dying from laughing because it was kind of true. I'm pretty sure that he was the one who won the competition because hands down, he was the funniest fucking person in the room by far. His jokes and the way that he would act it out and stuff like that, you know, he would act out every race. It was fucking hilarious, dude. It was the funniest fucking thing ever. He was also the one who called out one of us to say the joke the right way and use the N-word instead of saying the real word. He was like, say the joke the right way, Whitey. It was kind of cool to collectively get along. It really was. Then we went right back to self-segregating, but it's just the way it was. There were so many things that happened during this period that I couldn't possibly sift through all of it. It was weird. I was completely comfortable, as I said. I was in my own element in there, even to the point if I knew somebody was a first timer, because they all have that look, I wouldn't even hesitate to make sure they had a shower buddy. Such was the case for Tyler. What a gleaming jewel of a person he was. About as fresh and as innocent as it gets. He had this high-pitched voice which made it even worse for him. On his first shower extravaganza, I wanted to make sure that he felt safe. I used the same shower head as he did. I took his soap and started lathering up while having a casual conversation with him. I reassured him that none of the other boys were going to touch him, that this little filly was mine. Of course, again, I didn't seal the deal, okay, because I'm not a punk. I'm fucked up, I get it. There's no denying that. But The funny thing was, I told him he had to hold on to my shirt as I walked him across the day room. And he fucking did it. He didn't even put up a fight. He didn't last very long in the pod though. Oh, I feel so bad. Feel so bad for that. He ended up pissing too much blood and went, I think, to the hospital. Poor Tyler. Were some of the jokes absolutely mean? Yeah, they were. But it was just as fun as attending kindergarten with your besties. And the crazy part is, after all of that, I still wasn't in a rush to leave. Jail had become so familiar, and the outside world didn't feel like freedom anymore. It felt like walking back into nothing. It was so weird. My friend's mom sent me a birthday card and had an apartment ready for me. But I actually didn't want to get out because I knew I was coming back to nothing. No memories, nothing. All I had was what I came in with. That's it. All my things were gone. But that day ended up coming and I had to say goodbye. When you get released, it's early as shit in the morning. My aunt was there to pick me up. She brought me to my new apartment. I remember wearing my clothing and it still smelled like sweat and cigarettes. It was weird feeling my clothes on me again instead of the jail uniform. It was cool to get something to eat at, I believe, McDonald's. After that, she dropped me off at my new apartment. There was no furniture in there. I remember sitting in the middle of the floor of the living room wondering, like, what the fuck am I going to do? At the exact same time, I wasn't exactly bored either. I was excited by the prospect of all of this new shit. It was great. My now ex, the one who dropped off the money, actually had my iPod and she wanted to drop it off. Fuck, I wanted to listen to music so fucking bad. When she came over, it was kind of weird and awkward. I had completely forgotten how to talk to women, but I really appreciated her and it felt good to give her a hug. She, of course, looked amazing and smelled great, and I was still wearing the dirty ass clothes I got arrested in. She ended up going to prison for 5 years in Cali because she hooked up with another drug dealer and got caught smuggling. I spoke to her a little bit after that, but I haven't talked to her since. I really hope she's doing well. She was just attracted to the darkness like I was. So I'm going to end this right here because the next phase gets even worse because it's going to be my alternative to revocation and going to the Ryan house. Did you think it would be this fucked up? Please let me know in the comments. Thank you so much. Like, share, and subscribe if you want to get more nut to butt shower time with Nasty Mike and the boys. And I'll see you on the next one. Bye.